Hey team, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we're going to learn how to reverse engineer the unique index constraint. We're going to take baby steps, something that you'll be able to remember and master. Hope you enjoyed this video. Part 3, we're going to learn about the unique index. We're going to create a table, create indexes, and then reverse engineer it. Now, we just don't stop with just sys.indexes. You know that we're going to be looking at index columns, column types, schemas, and objects. Remember, everything starts with these two, the objects and the schemas, everything. So once we get that out of the way, master that, everything else actually becomes quite easy. Let's do this. Let's begin part 3. I'm going to start off with saying drop table part 3. I have this line here because I have to keep starting over. I'm making this video just for you, has to be perfect. So this right here allows me to start over. So notice here I say create table part 3. It has 3 columns. 2 of the columns I said not null. That means those fields are required. Let's create that table. Success. Now our first create unique index. Notice this is just the name of my index. Now the names must be unique. So create unique index, index name on the name of the table, part 3, and then the columns I want. Notice I'm using 2 columns, ID and code. Let's create that. Then I'm creating one additional index, create unique index. Notice it's a unique name on part 3, and I'm just going to be using code. Let's create that index. And then we get to inserting into part 3. Let's insert 3 rows. Let's show you those 3 rows. And up to now, life is perfect. Oh, we got our first failure. Now what fails on line 36 here? Well, do you remember when I created that unique index on the ID and code, C1 and AAA? Notice I'm trying to do that again. This will fail because of that unique index. You understand it. Let's begin reverse engineering this table with this unique indexes. Ready? sys.objects. Part 3 was the name of my table. Now, this number 1547, that is my object ID. And then we can go through sys.indexes for that object ID where unique is true, and we can get the list of those unique names. Remember, these were the names of those unique indexes. Now, not only can we go and say true, because this column is of type bit, we can also say 1. So these right here would return the same values, either true or 1. Now that we have those indexes, we can also search by the names. Now, I'll be honest, normally you do not know these, and you don't know this object ID. We normally start off at a table name, and we know that, but we don't know our index object names. But you can search by that as well. And notice all 3 of these ways return us the same values. Notice sys.indexes where name in are 2 index names. When I execute that, that gives us our 2 indexes we just created. Notice their index is index 2 and 3. Well, when I start searching for the index column, notice the 2 maps to 2. It's got 2 columns, and the 3 just has 1 column. Remember our UK part 3 index? UK part 3, notice 1, 2 has 2 columns. UK code only has 1 column. Notice 3 only maps to 1 column. I think you understand these 2 tables now. So here is the SQL statement that we've been building up to, and notice I start with object name part 3, and then based on that object name, I start using the object ID immediately. And that's kind of like how we navigate all these sys tables, is through that object ID. So notice we go through object ID, indexes, index columns goes to columns goes to systypes. And remember, we have 2 different types. We have the user type, it's like a user-defined data type, and the system type. Back in part 1, I explained that thoroughly. I won't go through that again, so please forgive me. And then we're done. So this is the SQL statement that we will be adding to our code generator to do some amazing things. Make sure you understand all the joins here. I think you got it. So unique indexes are very important, and I'm just going to give one example. There are thousands, I'm going to give one. And this one is very relative. Imagine we build a data entry form, and that form has 5 fields. If that table has a unique index on it, and 3 of them columns are required, they're part of the key, when we build a form, we need to make sure that those 3 fields are populated. And where would we get that information from? Well, we get it from the database. We now understand what unique keys are. So we can get a collection of columns that can aid us. Now, of course, we can go and have a user select the fields, but are all users privy to all the fields? I don't think so. And we're trying to write a smart code generator. So we'll do a lot of the heavy lifting for the person. In fact, pretty much no interaction. We will let them select an object, and then we will reverse engineer the database function, scalar function, or store procedure, and then we will generate whatever it needs for the solution. From a web page using any language, think of your favorite language, from Angular just a simple HTML, to backends. We'll be doing C# code web services, and all of them come from the database schema. It's amazing. So this is what we're building up to. We're almost done. This is part 3, and guess what? I'll see you back in my next video. Have a great week.